Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL pre-season review of the Sydney Swans and Carlton Blues match that they had a couple of days ago, and I'll be able to give pretty good insight as was able to catch a majority of this game and saw the players, roles and how they were and how it goes on. So remember to quickly like and subscribe as before I get into it, and we'll now get into the content. So if I go over here, there we go. First off was the Gulden, as I did a video on him. You can go check that out. I will link that in a card up there. He did pretty well for himself at 45 touches. He won't do this obviously in the actual season. 6 marks, 5 tackles is exactly the type of range you want. I think I saw a statistic from someone on Twitter saying that 80% of premiums to average over 100 in the midfield, if we are considering Gulden a midfielder, they go at least 8.5 tackles and marks a game, and you see he's sitting at 11 here. See George Hewitt, all of these guys here that hit pretty good numbers are sitting around that marker. Obviously you have some players like, that's why you see the likes of Luke Parker always get pretty much around that mark, because he gets those types of games. So Gulden I spoke about, we'll leave that for the video. Sam Docherty 143, I believe I'm going to come out with another video with him, with regards to him, as he went 11 marks, 34 disposals, 143 huge, and he's found a way to sneak into my team at that D1 spot, and he's like Josh Dunkley, he will not be traded. Like Oliver, these three plus Marshall and Witts pretty much are confirmed, unless of injury, are not going to get traded for me. So that's pretty much, well, you can also add Taranto and pretty much Rosie as well. Bond and probably Mitchell at the moment, although Mitchell might go down to Brody if I see anything more. And so that's really pretty much the core of my team are players that I don't want to trade at all. Hewitt had another good output game, but I don't think, especially because it was wet, I think that did help him with the tackles. So I don't expect him to do that well, but he's certainly someone I'm looking at in case, because we didn't really get the best, data collection with him last year with some injuries. Matthew Kennedy 106, yeah, pretty good. 4 marks, 7 tackles, 23 touches, yep. Parker at his usual self, pretty much. Silvani 81. I was shocked a little bit to see Silvani do that, but if we look at Silvani, he's a forward at 615k. Just don't go for him at that price, because he's going to be a pinch hit ruckman as well, and I don't think he'll put up this type of marking or this type of output in general that often. Charlie Curnow, I don't think will do this as well, and he seemed pretty lucky to get one of the goals I remember he kicked. It was pretty lucky as well, so I know that commentators are saying that he might kick 100. I don't think we'll pretty much ever see a guy kick 100 ever again, and I don't think Charlie Curnow's the type of guy that will do it. Blake Acres, a little bit low, but 81% time on ground's probably a little bit low as well. So only to get 80 and 5 marks, 3 tackles probably isn't good enough. Chad Warner seemed a little bit, a little bit out of touch. It didn't look like Gulden and others that played pretty well. So I think he's just going to be the one it's going to be one of those ones where do you tag Gulden, Warner, Mills? There's about 3 or 4 guys that really you can tag, and you just got to hope, honestly, that you probably get the tag right, in that someone else has in this case, if you were to tag Gulden out of the game and Warner had a good game, then it's Warner had this type of game, then you're like, okay, we picked the right tag, because other midfielders missed out. Blakey, 60% time on ground for 76 is pretty average. I guess that's the type of output he'll put up. Dylan Stevens, 73. There's not much meat on the bone there. McDonald won't take 10 marks each week, so there's not much for him there. Cincotta was on like 14 or something. At halftime, he wasn't doing too well, and then he sort of had a last quarter. I think he had 39 in the last. So he's certainly a 200k rookie we can look at. Then you have the likes of Cunningham. He won't be doing this each game, so you can count him out. Braden Campbell should be 92% time on ground for Braden Campbell. It's pretty good. I believe this is finally the stepping stone that Campbell needed, considering I'm still looking and Lloyd had 13 touches. So I think Campbell is the one to take over from Lloyd at least at worst the end of this season, as he's just a better defender. He's got that kicking range, and I think he's really, really good by foot. Florent, 70. There's not much there. Chera only got 79% time on ground. I forgot if was Walsh in this game. Walsh was not in this game, but I've heard stuff like Walsh being back earlier than expected, so maybe that impacts Chera and Akers and stuff. Then you got Hollins at 68, good rookie. Next you've got Robert, 67. I doubt he plays at that price. I think 67 is a little bit too high. I mean, a little bit. He won't even probably get a game. That's the thing. Rampy, 63. You can strike a name through him. Heaney, 63. 64% time on ground for Heaney. He missed a couple of shots as well, so he's usually more accurate with that. So expect him to, going off his averages last year, I think you can expect him to kick 2 goals a game. So if we transfer that across, then that's 69 or so points, 68 points. So that's pretty good for time on ground, especially because he probably has an 85% time on ground in season. Latham, 62 with a 56% time on ground is really good, but I doubt he'll do it against proper rucks, as they did have, De Koning and Silvani in the ruck. Lewis Young, 61, 90, there's not much there for you. Sam Reid, don't be tricked into him, as he puts up pretty good scores, but it's just the fact that he has major injury concerns, and I think he's just the thing with him, I think he's inconsistent that he'll put up a 40 and then he'll put up like 100 the next week. And if we look here, 2022, and also because he's at 73, you kind of need him to average like 85, 90. 63, 53, 65, 64, 114, 80, 54, 113, 37. Just inconsistent the whole season, basically, so you can knock him out. And then you see next we have McInerney, 59. I thought he actually played pretty well at the start, but I guess he sort of just got his ball distribution got taken out as the game went on. Ed Curnow, 58. I wonder what he's priced at. I think he's priced pretty high. Ed Curnow, yeah, no, there's nothing there. Then you got Wiedering, 56. Nothing really there as well. Zach Fisher, 51. Paddy Dow, Adam Sard, 48. I was surprised about Sard. I thought he'd be the one to take a step up, especially him or Cowan. Both to see them at 48, 47 is probably not good. Rowbottom I was surprised about. Only 1 tackle really doesn't help, but I think this is one to look at, and I think he'll be almost become player of difference because of this, and I do think he is ready. I just think this might be an outlier game. I could be wrong. I think he will get 4 or 5 more tackles and 4 or 5 more touches, and then if you take his time on ground, that will go up to like 85, 90. Even that'll get him another 3 or 4 touches at least, and another 4 or so tackles, and then you start to get up to, that's another like 25, 30 points. He's already at 75. if that's his baseline of 75 points, then that's pretty good, considering if you look at like the Crips and stuff, he's around that as well. Then you have a lot of guys here just are not fantasy friendly, and yeah, I think that's about it. And then you do have Lockie McAndrews, who's a good ruck R3, I think, if he does get a game, so he'll probably come into my team if the likes of Samson Ryan is not playing, as it might look like it is. That's the case. So if I go back here, that's my review of the Sydney versus Carlton game for the preseason, and how a lot of these guys went, and how I guess some player difference was ruined and some were actually created in this game, as we saw quite a lot of big top end scores and then a big drop off in output. And I guess it's hard also to tell because a lot of the Sydney guys were on, I guess, a minutes rotation cap, looking at around that 60%, in the low 60s. So remember that as you put that into consideration, as well as the fact that there was, what did they play, 26, 27 man squads or somewhere around there. So some of these guys at the lower end, or some of these guys that did actually get good time on ground, like the rookies, etc., might not actually play round one. But I guess there will be a scramble on Thursday to get those teams finalised once teams come out. So if you want to watch the other AFL Fantasy preseason previews, they'll be up in this corner over here. And if you want to watch the other AFL Fantasy content, it'll be up in this corner. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.